During this series, our goal is to better understand dissonant rhythmic subdivisions and how they can be made more accessible on the drum set. This video will explain how polyrhythms can play a crucial role in making dissonant rhythmic subdivisions more accessible. Before we begin, let's review part 1 of the series. We are working with the 4/4 time signature. We will be building our rhythms on the beats, not pulses. The selected subdivisions are from 1 to 12, and the chord durations that we are working with are the quarter note, half note, and whole note. In this video, we will first look at the basics of polyrhythms. Then, we will assess all of the dual rhythmic options that are available to us. And finally, we will decipher exactly which polyrhythms we will be working with and how they relate to the chord durations. Much like polyphony, where there are said to be many distinct melodies existing simultaneously, a polyrhythm is the combination of 2 or more dissimilar rhythms. So let's look at the simplest polyrhythm, which has 2 subdivisions, and they are 3 and 2. Both the 3 and 2 need to exist within the same duration, and for demonstration purposes, let's say that the 3 needs to fit within the time of the 2. So the 3 eighth notes are compressed and squeezed together to form an eighth note triplet. This triplet is then combined with the 2 eighth notes, and this creates the polyrhythm. This polyrhythm is known as a 3/2, 3/2, or 3/2 polyrhythm. To find the polyrhythms that best suit our needs, we will start by combining every one of our 12 subdivisions to one another to see what options are available. This is a table with every possible combination of 1 to 12. The first number of each option represents the upper or top subdivision, and the second number represents the bottom or lower subdivision. The options with only natural subdivisions are in blue. Options with only unnatural subdivisions are in red. Options with both natural and unnatural subdivisions are dual-colored depending on which side the natural and unnatural subdivisions are. Now we can begin to exclude the combinations that are not suitable, like the combinations that have a repeated number, combinations that include 1, combinations with only natural subdivisions. To narrow the options down more, we must refer back to our main purpose, and that is accessibility. This means that we should aim to have a set of polyrhythms that simplifies the process of playing tuplets, rather than complicates it. For this reason, we are going to exclude all the options that only have tuplets. A major goal of this study is to better connect dissonant subdivisions to each adjoining beat. This means that in each polyrhythm, we should aim to have at least one natural subdivision that connects the polyrhythm to the meter. Because of this, we can now exclude all the options that have a tuplet as the bottom number. We have one last exclusion to make, and that is any combination where both numbers are divisible by a number other than 1. This is because those options are not true polyrhythms and can be reduced down to a core polyrhythm, as can be seen by the 6/4 example below, which is actually a pair of 3/2 polyrhythms. The last exclusion leaves us with 3 distinct columns. Each column has either a tuplet over 2, tuplet over 4, or tuplet over 8. And this is where our polyrhythms will come from. Let's compare this graph of polyrhythms to the naturally occurring polyrhythms produced by our rhythm scale. Here we can see our rhythm scale to the right, and the polyrhythmic ratios to the left. The green boxes show the polyrhythms that naturally occur within the rhythm scale. The next step is a creative decision to make the polyrhythms as simple and accessible as possible. For this reason, we will only be focusing on the lower subdivisions of 2 and 4. To make this possible, we are going to permit any of the tuplets to be paired with any of the natural subdivisions, and in any of the chord durations. Let's use the 3/2 polyrhythm in the duration of a whole note as an example. As we can see, the 3/2 polyrhythm can become a 3/4 polyrhythm. The same can be said about the half note duration and the quarter note duration. To conclude, we are pairing dissimilar rhythms to create polyrhythms. We combined our 12 subdivisions to one another, producing a small set of suitable options. The polyrhythms involve 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 being paired with 2 or 4, and these options can be applied to any of the chord durations.